Hey guys, this is the second strut that I just finished changing out. It was probably like 15 minutes ago when I made the first one. It was that quick. It doesn't take all day. Not like that two-piece clamp that you always get loan a tool for. Uh, Literally took minutes on this. Um I just want to extend my comments on this 2009 TL. I don't believe they have a setup, a breakdown of struts, anyways, in the torque specs. Uh, Now, usually, if there's any specific instructions, some um, I believe German cars and maybe Dodge. Don't hold me on this, but they want the spring to be preloaded onto the nut. So basically, you run it down until you see the thread coming out from the nut, and you run the nut down until it almost, well, until it bottoms out, but you slightly snug it. For German cars or Dodge, I believe they want you to release the clamp pressure, the spring pressure. Basically, they want a preload on the nut before you torque it down. Well, this one is not very specific. So basically, I can actually turn. Well, I torqued it down already, so I put preload on the spring already, on the nut already. But basically what I did, I clamp it to where it's loose. I'll torque it down without the load on the spring. And by the way, it's 22 foot-pounds on this nut. And it's a nylon locking nut. Most struts are made that way. Most strut nuts are made that way. I have a special tool. Let me see if I can zoom out here. I have this special tool where it has different size sockets. Now, this is not a regular type of socket that you would see normally. So this has different size mils, 18 mils. Well, what I'm using now is a 14. Of course, the nut is 14. Now, the big hole in the middle there is for that cutout. So basically, it's a oval shape, or I'm pretty sure there's a name for it. So this tool set has different size, different shapes. You can see here, all kinds. I bought this years ago, so I wouldn't remember the name brand of it. But if you look for the strut tool set, you probably can find this. But they got different kinds, different setups that you can use. But for my purpose, this is what I need. It sits right on top of there. Now, of course, the socket that comes with it in the tool set goes right over that. And voila. You can crank it. Now, on a basic tool, you can probably use like a crescent wrench, and of course, maybe one of those through sockets or another crescent wrench to break this loose. Well, that's not the case for a lot of struts out there. Oh, sorry. It's not a lot of, it's not as easy as you think, like this setup. A lot of struts out there, you definitely need this toolkit to work on, especially German cars. There's no way of working on German cars without a tool set like this. Top of my head, I'm not sure. Now the old Hondas are needed, because for one, of course, the shaft and nut is recessed into the strut mount, so you won't be able to just put a crescent wrench on there and break it. So, all right, very easy. Well, I've already torqued it down. I'm just releasing. Now the way to release that is to turn it clockwise. Yeah, well, there's a multiplier right here. That's the reason why you have to turn it that way. All right, gotta put some pressure on it to release this bolt. And it's like a little clamshell claw. So it grabs both. Well, the heaviest set is the one that goes when you're clamping down, but the other claw is to keep it from flying at you. All right, let me release the whole way. Voila. Oh, I love that tool. I've worked on so many struts already that it takes minutes. I remember when I didn't have that tool, I always go out to the auto parts store and get that loaner tool. Like I mentioned before, it took me a whole day just to do 2 front struts. I was so frustrated. This literally, as soon as you put it on there, it takes you no more than 5-10 minutes to change out the struts. And of course, it holds the spring compressed there. Follow instructions on how to use that too. When you're compressing car struts, do not compress it all the way where it flattens out. That is a very dangerous move. You only compress it enough to where this is loose. The strut is loose. So when you remove the nut, it won't spring on you. That's it. Just enough to do that. I can't stress enough on that. I know there's a lot of videos out there saying that also. Just make sure you do not compress. If you ever get one of those tools I have, the strut compressor I have, don't ever over compress it. Just enough to where you have slack or to have the strut loosen. That's it. So when you compress it, just turn the strut left, right, and you'll feel the looseness. And that should be enough. Don't over compress it. Okay. Now there's an alignment for this because of the strut mount and all that. There's actually a marking just to give you an idea. See that little notch right there? Well, that notch is your indicator. That faces inward, but when you're installing, you're gonna need it face out to see it. What I did a little silver marker, and everything has to line it in place. The bottom of the spring has to sit right there against the lip there. It has to sit correctly. And what I did now per manual, this is the driver side. Oh no, passenger side. I'm sorry, passenger. So when you turn it in, that notch is going to be inward. So basically that notch has to line up with this, with the 2 strut mount bolts facing forward. Basically the forward of the car is my right hand here. And that notch has to line up with this mounting bolt, as you can see there. In the manual, it mentioned that you're allowed like up to 3 degrees off. Like I said, get in the middle, get it straight, lined up as close as you can. So when you install, this is the orientation and how it goes in, like so. And of course the strut mount goes right there in the front. And of course this is the front of the car. And then of course for the driver side, you have to do it the same way. Actually, I have it right here. In fact, that's the one I showed you a while ago. So you have to line up to where the strut mount sits in the front. Strut mount bolts, the strut bar sits right here. Strut mount bolt, and of course it lines up with the notch I made right there. Close enough, you can see there. And this is how it sits from the driver's side. I'm sitting, so to my left is the front of the car, and that's how it should sit. Like I said, every car is different. There's an alignment that you have to do to get everything lined up together. But that is it for that. Well, good luck, guys. I was pretty vague on my first video. I'm gonna link this second video along with it, so you guys would have it all together. Here, this is the driver's side. Now that notch I mentioned in the strut, that little tiny notch, it actually goes into this groove on the fork, like so.